got married to my sister's fiance in her place, and won't step down when she was finally ready to be a wife because, hello all, I came here to vent. I'm not looking for advice of any kind. I just want to tell my story in my own way. Jane 23 female, have a sister whose name is Jenny 25 female. Jenny and I look so much alike that people mistake us for a twin. My sister and I have everything given to us on a platter of gold. We don't lack material things, good things. We vacation as much as we want, and it's never a problem. My father doesn't play favorite, which I appreciate, but my mom tends to kinda like Jenny more and somehow give in to her easily. I got to find out Jenny has an ancestral birthmark from my mother's side, which brought more respect to my mother amongst her siblings. I don't really care about all those things. My mom loves us differently, and I don't mind as long as she doesn't make it so obvious. Once in a while, my dad takes me and my sister on a tour in his company and lecture us on how he runs everything, and one day we will take over. I always enjoy these because it's actually one day we get to have our dad for the whole day, and it's satisfying to hear him tell a lot of stories. I also use these opportunity to bond with my sister. I love my sister as much as she loves me. We get along well, but as we grew into adults, we started having different views of people and things, and we kind of grew apart slowly. One day, my daddy asked to see us for a get-together. I am still in college, but Jenny is not, so I got ready to travel back home the next day. I booked my flight and packed few stuffs I will need. I went to a high-end store and picked 3 gifts for my parents and sister. When I landed the next day, I located my family's chauffeur, got in the car while he helped load my bag. We soon arrived at my family's house, and I felt that familiar feeling. It was pleasant. I went in to see my parents and sister already waiting for me. We hugged and talked about all we missed in our lives. It was so good until my father cleared his throat. All attention was on him now. He talked about his company affairs, business in particular. I got to find out that Jenny has taken a role in the company. My father talked about his friend whom proposed a deal to work together for a bigger project that others were eyeing, but his only condition was my father should give one of his daughters' hand in marriage to his son. I was flabbergasted. Is this still happening in this 21st century? My father turned to Jenny and asked if she was interested, and she flipped out. She said she is not willing to sacrifice her youth for anything. She's not interested to marry anyone now, and she already has a relationship and won't sabotage it for anyone. You see, my sister has a routine, a very beautiful one. Since she officially started dating, she dates twice each year. She once told me how she was helping keep my men busy so they won't look elsewhere till I start dating. Laugh out loud. My father looked at me. I told him to not even go there. I was not even done with my studies, and I want to choose my husband, not the other way around. The meeting ended with no agreement. I went in my room to relax. I heard a knock on my door. I opened it, and it was my father. He came in after I invited him in, sat on my bed. I gave him my camera to feed his eyes with my pictures and beautiful memories I made while I was away, and went to my bathroom to freshen up. When I came out, I saw him laughing at something on my phone. I went to take a look, and it was a video I made on my first hiking trip with my friends. It was embarrassing, though. Soon, my father dropped the camera, sat close to me, and inquired about my studies and asked if I had any difficulties he should know about. I told him no, and I'm very grateful for the kind of father he was and glad he was always around and willing to run to my aid anytime. We made small talks, and he asked if I was seeing anyone at the moment. I said no. My mind is only focused on my studies and won't appreciate anything that will distract me. He nodded in understanding and asked if I was willing to give this unknown guy a chance. I should just go on a date with him, and if I don't like him, it's okay. He just wants to save face so his friend won't feel insulted. I asked if he has seen him. He affirmed. I told him I'm doing this just for him and nothing else. He thanked me and ran off like a happy boy whose birthday gift was a PS5. I planned on getting this person to be the one to reject me so my father won't have a hard time explaining why his daughters aren't interested to his friend. I received the date details from my father later in the day. I checked out the restaurant we were to meet, and it was classy, my type. I shopped for a dress, and on the day of the date, I dressed so beautifully, and my dad was so impressed and offered to drop me off, but I declined so he won't ruin my plan. When my driver moved past our house, I started ruining my makeup. I made myself look horrible. I felt bad for the young man, though, but I had no choice. Laugh out loud. I asked my driver to drop me off at a thrift store nearby. I got out and purchased a very ugly dress, went into their dress room and changed, gave my expensive clothes to the salesgirl that helped me with the changing. She thanked me. When I arrived at the restaurant, The receptionist eyed me with disgust when I showed her the booking details to direct me to the appropriate box. I was taken to where I should be. I looked inside, and just then our eyes met. I composed myself and walked up to him, sat down immediately, removed my heels in a dramatic way that attracted more eyes on our table. I looked up to only catch him smiling at my foolishness. I felt a bit embarrassed. He picked up the menu and asked me to choose what I would like to eat. I picked about 9 different dishes, and it almost filled the table. He obviously couldn't order anything else. Except a drink. He introduced himself as William, and I told him mine. He talked about things like our hubbies, and he asked about my studies. He was being a gentleman, but I wasn't done with him. Once my order arrived, I bounced on it, ate like I haven't seen a proper meal, like I was homeless. When I was done, I looked at the mess I created and was pleased. When I looked at my date, he was nonchalantly drinking his wine while watching me like a prey. I felt this is a good performance. I'm ready to see the results, haraha. I said, hope you don't mind me. William asked if I'm full we could order another sets. I rejected it immediately. I even wanted to throw up because I ate so much in a short while. He handed me a wipe to clean my mouth. I rolled my eyes and took it from him. I was getting ready to go when I heard him say, don't worry, when we get married, I will make sure you get to eat whatever you desire. Oh no, this was not the result I was expecting. He complimented my hair and skin, and I felt was trying to tell me I wasn't really a good actor. He requested to take me home, but I declined. I came with my driver. He nodded and asked if I wanted to go with him to his recent project. I didn't know when I cheerfully accepted. He paid and we left. He took me around my city, showed me a lot, asked for my views on some topics. I honestly answered. When we were done, he wanted to show me more, but I refused and asked why he is showing me to his unfinished projects instead of his parents. Asked if he was too embarrassed. He didn't reply, and I asked to take me to where my driver was so I can go home. I was already feeling disgusted with how I looked. I wasn't paying attention until we arrived. When I looked around, I thought he took me home already. I said thanks, and was about to go in when I stopped at my tracks. This is not my home. He took me to his family villa. His mum came out and held out her hands for an embrace, but I was too embarrassed to go for it. She came to where I stood, hugged me, and commented on how I looked gorgeous and amazing, that even the rough makeover couldn't conceal my beauty. I was shocked. Does she mean that, or she was just trying to be polite? I decided to respect myself, so I won't drag my father into this mess. We had dinner with his parents. Before that, I went to their restroom and watched away those horrible makeup, and just left my face without applying anything again. I love how cool his family was to me for the first time. I was impressed. I had some girls talk with his mom, and I felt relaxed. He took me home. My family was waiting for us already. When we came, my sister was shocked when she saw him for the first time. She started getting clingy with him, which I noticed. When he was discussing marriage with my father, he told him they can't do anything without me agreeing. My sister immediately said she's now interested and ready. My dad looked at her and asked what changed her mind. She just said she wasn't expecting him to be this young and handsome with the way my father described him to her. My dad replied the ball is no longer in her court, and the decision is left for me. Mind you, I wasn't there when they were having this conversation, as I immediately ran to my room to change my dress. So, when I came downstairs to where everyone was seated, I noticed my sister was sitting too close to him. I just want to sit next to my dad. My dad asked how the date went. I said fine. My dad looked at me straight in the eye and asked if I was interested in the marriage proposal. I said no. William asked my reasons. I said I was still schooling and won't want to get distracted. Jenny said perfect. My dad asked him since I declined then he will get married to his first daughter. He declined and said he only wants me and will be able to wait for me as long as I give him my words. I said since he's willing to wait and get to know each other properly, then it's a yes. He nodded, told me to prepare for another proper date next time, not what I just pulled off today. I smiled in embarrassment. He stood up to leave. Myself and father followed him out. When he left, my father said a heartfelt thank you and promised to add more money to my allowance. When we got inside, my sister accused me of taking her fiance. I was surprised and asked her what she meant. She said she was the original bride for him, and I stole her place, and I need to step down. My father asked if she was crazy. He literally begged her to go on a blind date with him, and she's free to reject his proposal properly, so his friend won't feel insulted, but she disagreed, and now she wants to claim ownership. My mom defended her by saying she didn't know he was that young and handsome too. My father asked her if he looked like someone who would set his young daughter up to a man of his age. My mom didn't say anything again. I quietly went into my room and locked the door. I really don't need any unnecessary drama. A week later, I flew back to school. Oh yes, my mom and sister tried all they could to discourage me from giving him a chance, and I should allow my sister to have this one man. I said she could convince him to come for her, that I really don't care. She called me all the names in the world, and I was amazed as how my mom was so supportive of her every decision. I heard she visited his family house with my mom to talk to his mom about changing the bride since I wasn't ready at the moment. His mom said she really likes me and my childish personality and felt I wasn't pretending to be who I wasn't or went extra mile to convince them. The love she has for me came naturally, and she isn't convincing her son and will only stand by any decision he made. My dad told me, though, my mom tried to talk him into setting a date so him and my sister could meet properly, but my father refused. My mom went ahead and used my father's phone to communicate with him, invited him to my family-owned restaurant so they can discuss more on the marriage plans. My sister dressed all provocatively to meet him. When he asked why she came and not my father, she said my dad sent her. He stood up immediately and left. I told my dad if he wants I can step down so my sister can get a chance with him. Maybe they might marry, who knows? He told me to not bother myself unless I was no longer interested in him. If not, I should forget about their drama. William came to see me, his hands full. He bought a lot of gifts for me, and I was amazed. We went out together to get some fresh air, and I asked about his projects. He told me how he took some of my advice the other day, and it's going well. I was surprised. We talked about everything except what happened on our first date. Oh my God, it was so embarrassing. A year later, I graduated. William and his parents flew in to join and celebrate me. My mom and dad came without my sister. They said she was busy, but I knew she was not happy with me, and soon William proposed, and I accepted to marry him. My mom and soon-to-be mother-in-law took care of everything about the wedding as they worked hand in hand. I personally sent an invite to my sister in her office. She refused to respond to me, and while I was leaving, she told me to remember, he was hers first. And I stole him away from her, and she hope I regret doing this to her. I'm here wondering if I actually stole him from her. What do you guys think? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment what you think about this amazing piece.